According to SpendMeNot.com, 69% of American adults have less than $1,000 in their savings account. Furthermore, the average household savings account stands at just $16,420. And 54.29% of American adults aged 45 to 54 have no savings at all. Jim DeGaetano is on a mission to change just that. He's the president of Diamond Wealth Advisors, a consulting firm dedicated to bringing clarity to your life through the creation of a sound financial strategy which is tailored to what's important to you, empowering you to take control of your own financial future. He joined me this week to discuss how we can all effectively save money, plan for retirement, and this published author even took some time to promote his new book, Larry the Bunny Saves His Money, a children's book intended to inspire kids to get excited about their own future financial prosperity. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. Jim, if you're ready, I'll take a few seconds to welcome you to the program, and I'm excited to talk to you about strategic and financial planning this morning. So great to see you, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Hey, Jim, I'm going to start you off by asking you a simple question having to do with how do you think strategic planning and planning for retirement and financial planning are all interconnected?
Well, strategic planning and planning for retirement are all connected because you do have to have a plan. And that's kind of the basis of any type of success for any strategy that you're going to employ. What's the plan? What is the goal? Listing those goals down, prioritizing those goals in order of importance, in order of time until the goal needs to be reached or attained. And then, of course, the method in which you plan to do it and how you're going to execute and implement that plan.
Tell me, I know a thing or two about saving money, and I know you just wrote a book called Larry the Money Saves His Money. So tell me the message you were hoping to teach people about money management through the book.
One of the things I've noticed, Kevin, over the years, being a certified financial planner and a CPA, and helping my clients on their journey to financial success and freedom, is that it's not necessarily taught in high school. It is not part of our national curriculum. Some states may have it, but it is not part of our curriculum that most kids get when they go to elementary school, middle school, high school, and then on to college. Unless you actually study finance, it's not normally part of the curriculum for college students. And so how do we learn about money? And in my world, when I see that 85% of Americans are ill prepared for the retirement that they envision and would like to have, it begs the question, well, why is that? Well, if the system isn't set up to educate them on it, how would they be without having parents that can guide them, or friends, or advisors like myself that they may come across? And so through my reading, as I read a lot of psychology about the brain and how people make decisions, because that's the reason that people are successful financially, overwhelmingly, is their behavior. And so it just reasoned to me that, well, if our brains are pretty much formed by age 6 and our habits unconsciously by that time, then we need to reach the kids earlier because it's not happening in high school. It's not going to happen in college. And so here I am with a 4 and a 6-year-old at the time at home, and I'm looking for books to be able to read to them. I read to them every night, and I could not find a book that fit that I was looking for to just teach them about the topic of money and saving. And so that's where Larry the Bunny Saves His Money comes in. I wrote a book. And so Larry gets paid in carrots, and he gets 10 carrots a month. And his dad taught him, every time you work and get your pay, save 2 carrots for another day. And it teaches the concept at such a young age, because at that age, there's a cause and effect. That's how kids learn. If I do this, then this happens, right? Parents say no. If I do this, then I do that. And so the cause and effect of the book is, if you save, it's a good thing, and you can have a good life. And so the idea is to plant that savings chip in their brain early on about money, using a very likable, cute bunny in which to do that. And the kids seem to like the bunny aspect of it.
Well, I tell you, if you ingrain habits in kids early in life, they're more apt to follow it. So I applaud and commend you on publishing the book, and hopefully it'll bring out a good message about effective money management for kids. Maybe you'll inspire somebody to take your job one day, huh?
That would be wonderful. That would be great. It just went out on Amazon this past week, actually, as a matter of fact, and it's been getting wonderful reviews from parents and grandparents. And that's kind of the interesting thing, Kevin, is, you know, most of the time I'm dealing with in my world, people that are about to retire and helping them through that major transition in life. And one of the things I notice is most of those people tend to have grandkids. And so for the holidays, it makes a wonderful little stocking stuff for kids or grandkids.
Absolutely, and it's an inexpensive Christmas gift, which is always important, especially during these times there. So
Exactly.
I wish you best of luck with the book, but I also know that you're the president of Diamond Wealth Advisors. So can you tell me, I know that you work with people to meet them where they are financially and help them cultivate a successful financial strategy. So tell me a little bit about your company and the inroads that you make helping people manage their money.
Yeah, I founded the firm, Diamond Wealth Advisors, 3.5 years ago. I came from an environment that I was successful in with another firm, but I came to the conclusion that I really needed to open up my own registered investment advisory firm to do what I was looking to do. And so really what we do is we provide emotional and financial clarity for life's major transitions, whether you've lost a loved one, whether you're changing a career, whether you've had a baby or getting divorced. And probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest transition people go to is retirement. I really don't like that word retirement, because retire is to cease. And while you're ceasing employment, what I tend to find is those that have the most healthy and successful and happy retirements are the people that say, I'm busier now than I was when I was working. And I don't know if you've heard that before, but so, we like to use the word financially free because really what people want is to be able to have the flexibility to be able to do what they want to do. But it is not just about the financial and quantitative part. There is a very, very large emotional context to the decision of retirement, and we work with our clients to help them transition through that. I mean, just think, I think it's unreasonable to suggest that someone who has spent 30 or 40 years of their life doing something, and that is their identity, to all of a sudden just walk away one day, close the door and say, okay, I'm done. I'm going to be a completely different person. That's just not how it works. There is a process that most people go through when they are looking at doing something different in their career, or terminating their career and moving on to the next chapter of their life. And that's why I wrote the book, The Fruitful Retirement. It is a financial framework for your life's greatest chapter. And hopefully some people that are contemplating or thinking that they're would like to retire in the next few years, or maybe they recently retired and they just want some more thoughts about it. Hopefully, this book can help them take that step forward and give them some information and education, and also know that they're not alone in this path. It's very easy to think that you're the only one that's kind of done it this way and this is different, but it's not. Many other people have had these same emotions and concerns about making that step into retirement, and hopefully the book can help people along that path.
And Jim, I'm also curious to get your thoughts on if anyone's the beginning stages of planning for retirement, what would you tell them about the importance of sort of knowing that your financial situation is going to change? And what's your best advice for anyone that may be watching this who may be in the initial stages of planning for retirement and they want effective tips on how to manage their money?
That's a great question, Kevin. So actually, one of the things I do in the book is I have some exercises, and I think those might be a good thing to talk to your listeners about, because when we are speaking with someone for the first time who is about to retire, we take them through something that I've created called a path to clarity map. The idea is focusing internally about what's important to you. And I look at retirement as an opportunity, and to say, what is it that you want to do? What are you good at, right? What are maybe you're not good at, but you love doing it? That's a hobby. That shouldn't be your career. But one of the things you want to do is look at what it is you want to do. How do you want to spend your time? I always say to people, if you tell me how you're going to spend your time in retirement, I can better help you plan to spend your money, because the two are related. And so you can't have one without the other, and that's where the plan comes in. But also look at your calendar. I suggest people look at your calendar, print out a calendar, and look what it is right now. From 8 to 6 or 9 to 5 or however much you work during the day, you fill in all your activities. Well, when you're done working, that calendar becomes open, and you need to fill it with certain things, because just we as humans live off some sort of discipline in our life. And that's very helpful to continue some sort of discipline, whatever that discipline may be for you. So the biggest thing is really visioning what it is you're going to do, how you're going to be doing it, but make sure those activities bring you peace and joy in your life. If you don't like doing it, even if you're really good at it, well, maybe you don't want to spend your time doing that in retirement, because it's not about the money anymore. Now it's about the time and how you want to allocate that time. And so once you've done that, then you can move into the financial part, and creating a budget is extremely important. Most families have said to me when I asked what was one of the more helpful exercises that you did in preparation for retirement, and they said the budget was very helpful. The fruitful retirement is something that I created because what I found is that people that are about to retire can be classified into 3 different categories, and each category can be reflected by fruit. And why that is helpful is our brains are very visual, and retirement can be a complex topic. But if you can break down which fruit you are, and then visually remember, this fruit, I need to focus on this when it comes to retirement, and these are the risks. That becomes very important, because then your energy and attention and focus can be honed in on that particular type of category, that particular type of retiree, that particular type of retirement situation, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And I also wanted to ask you about planning financially during the pandemic. Certainly, we're entering the holiday season. So what would you tell people about the importance of managing their money during the holidays, and if they want to sort of enjoy the finer things in life, but still be fiscally responsible, what would you tell them?
That's a great question. Well, what we found was during the pandemic, and as this is still going on, people aren't spending as much money. The savings ratio in our country has gone up really, really high, and that's wonderful. But then what happens is that as there is money in people's bank accounts, a little bit more than maybe they're used to, we tend to to spend that, and the tendency could be this to make up for the lack of trips or social gatherings or other things that you normally would be doing in your life that you have not been able to do. Uh, you may have a tendency to overspend more than you normally would this holiday to compensate for some of the items that you didn't get to do this year. So I would just say be mindful that we're going to come out of this pandemic here at some point. Whenever that is, I know there's vaccines and of course there's therapeutics and stuff like that. But be mindful that that you still want to make sure that you do have a healthy savings account and try not to blow it all over the holidays. But it is okay to spend over the holidays. That's what you're supposed to do. That is why you save some money. So I would suggest that everyone take a look at what that emergency savings is that they have and make sure they stick to it. And any monies that you have over and above that, if it's not set aside for your emergency money or maybe some short-term things that maybe are needed around the house, gifts or home improvements or something that may be needed, then go ahead and spend and give some wonderful gifts to your family and friends.
Yeah, and I had another follow-up in terms of anyone that may have lost their job through this and who is struggling to determine what to spend money on in terms of paying their bills or wanting to put money aside for this period. What would you tell them about effective money management and how to manage their money while they're looking to sort of reestablish their employment situation?
Great question. One of the reasons we advocate and we suggest when you're building your financial home that you don't start with the roof. And I would equate the roof to being your investment strategies and your investments. You start with, the concrete floor. You start with the bottom and the floor, and that's your savings account. That's building enough, 3 to 6 months, depending on your situation, to have in the bank to cover you for a while. And unfortunately, many people do live paycheck to paycheck, and some of it is because they may not have a living wage that covers. But there are many people that do have well over a living wage and just have not behaviorally put the money aside. And I think this pandemic, if people have lost jobs, the one thing that hopefully they all regain their jobs next year. And then what I would suggest is at that time, really make sure that you are intentional with the allocation of your dollars. And there's a strategy I tend to use that you should put 5% of what you make of your gross pay into your bank account, into your savings account. 10% should go, at least 10% should go into your investment account, whether it's your 401k at work, your savings plan, 403b, or Roth or traditional IRA, or even just a normal investment account. So that's 15%. And then another 5% is probably going to have to go to protect, what you have, such as auto insurance and life insurance or disability insurance. It is different if it's just you as a single person as opposed to you that's protecting a spouse and kids. If something happens, you become disabled at work or, you die prematurely. So that's 20 cents on every dollar you make, gross dollar you make, that you are paying yourself first. And the first part we want to do is put the money into the emergency savings to make sure that whether it's a pandemic or some other sort of crisis happens again, you have a much longer runway than maybe you had had in the past. So what I would say is try to past however you're handling your money, if maybe it wasn't as good as you'd like it to be, and focus on the future. Let it go. If you've made some mistakes, move on so that you can build that financial future that you're looking for. And it starts at the bottom and then moves up, with the top. So it starts with your savings and then moves on to the investments after that.
And I know that for you personally, you find satisfaction in writing and expressing or delivering your message through writing. So I'm just wondering, as an author, what brings you the most satisfaction in connecting with people through the written word?
Uh, you kind of write about where your life intersects your finances. It's all connected. We're all connected in life. I mean, there is writing these books actually had a spiritual component to me, for me. It's a labor of love. This is what I'm kind of meant to do here, and the 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 writing of a book. After writing two here during this pandemic and COVID, I have a lot of respect for all other authors out there. But really, what I get satisfaction out of it would be other people reading from it and getting something from it and making a step forward to better their life. And hopefully, maybe people would be inspired from the retirement book, and then from the kids book. I hope that I could just picture parents sitting down with their kids at night or grandparents and reading this to them, and hopefully, maybe it plants that savings chip in their brain that they remember how, they equate the money with savings and that they should do it. I'll give you an example. My daughter, who's we've read the book to many times, she received a dollar from, one of the grandparents. And I said, Anna, what are you going to do with the dollar? And she said, Daddy, I know. Larry the bunny saves his money. and somehow it was stuck in her brain and it worked. So as an author, that's what you like to hear.
Absolutely, and I know you have two young children, and I'm curious to know what's the legacy that you hope to leave for them, both professionally and personally.
Wow, that's a deep question. Personally, spiritual guidance. I think we're all here for a purpose, and we have many ups and downs, but all of those, and probably more so the downs in our life and the conflict and difficulty, are the things that are meant to provide us lessons, whether we know it at the time or not. If we keep our mind calm and really listen to what we're being told, based on actions that are occurring in our life, that we can move in the right direction. So hopefully there could be some sort of legacy that my kids have from my direction personally, that they can have a life full of peace and giving. As far as professionally, I feel like there's the mantra to give is to receive is most appropriate in my world, because I want to help in any way we possibly can, even if it's just a little small step in someone's life for them to either just get started saving, or someone that's on the other spectrum of life, that needs to move forward with some guidance about how they're going to retire or move on after a divorce, or they've lost a loved one, what they're supposed to do. So, to me, when you give, whether it's advice or just listening or consolations, you receive multitude back from that. So for me, from a legacy, it's just to continue to be connected with other people. We're all in this together, and despite what you may hear in other divisive settings that we had most recently politically, we are all in this together, and so we all have our own talents and skills, and I'm just trying to provide a little bit of what I've been given back. That's all.
And Jim, if you had one parting message or one message you wanted our listeners or viewers to take away about uh, effective money management, what would that be?
Get started early. Uh, be disciplined. Be consistent. You can do it. The reason you will be successful is due to your behavior. And humans are not necessarily wired for good behavior about money, but that doesn't mean you can't overcome it. And sometimes it's helpful to have a coach. And everyone has a coach. Tiger Woods has a coach. Michael Jordan had a coach. LeBron James has a coach. So you don't have to go at it alone. There are plenty of people out there that do what I do, that can work with you and help you. Plenty of people that have paved that path before. So basically, if you're in the younger stage of life, just get started. That's what you need to do. Just take that first step and get started. If you feel like it's too late, it's never too late. So, if you're 50 years old and you say, gosh, I'm not where I'd like to be, okay, accept it, let go of the past, and move forward to make the right steps here in 2021 to get your financial house in order. So you can do that. On the younger end of the spectrum, if you're a parent with young kids, the earlier you can start talking to them and having an honest conversation about money, the better. They need to know, where their house comes from and why mommy and daddy go to work, what that is. That's important for them to understand. I'm not saying at 5 years old you need to talk to them about Roth IRAs. That's ludicrous. That's not what you want to do. But just the basics of that, piggy banks that you give them. Maybe it's a savings book that you might read that has a bunny on it. But the reality is you can do this, and it is not rocket science. Every single person has the ability to save a little bit. And I always say to the kids and other people, it's like 3 buckets: save, give, and spend. And if you can do it in that order, you'll be successful. You will.
And my final question for you, Jim, is a two-parter. Outside of work, what do you like to do to pass the time and have a little bit of fun? And if people want to get connected to you, what's the best way they can do that?
Awesome. I love hanging out with my family. My parents live locally. I have 3 sisters, and I like to hang out with them. I like to hang out with my friends. My kids are so young, so we just play and have a good time. I love to read. I love sports. I played 4 sports in high school, played in college a little bit, and as we talked earlier, I am a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we're having a really good year this year. Working out, just being outdoors in the nature is enjoyable to me, and so that's the one thing I think during this COVID, when sports were not on TV for a while, that you had to reallocate your time, and most of that was done with just kind of looking internally and spending it with family and slowing time a little bit. It was really nice. So I enjoy that. If anyone wants to be connected with me, DeGaetano.com would be my website to learn more about the books. My last name is not an easy one to spell, so DeGaetano. So JimDeGaetano.com, and Larry the Bunny Saves His Money is on Amazon, as is The Fruitful Retirement. You can always go take a look at those books, and much appreciated.
Fantastic, Jim. I want to take a few seconds to thank you for joining me this morning to talk to me about effective money management and opening up a little bit about your personal life as well. Really enjoyed our conversation, and I want to thank you for being here this morning. It's most appreciated.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Fantastic, Jim. We're done. That was terrific.